Let's move on. Let's talk about Andy Kotelnicki, dog, offensive coordinator now at Penn State. Previously was the offensive coordinator at Kansas. Um, yeah, and look, if you are tuned in for the falls, right, you may know of Andy Kotelnicki, like, and his work at Kansas. But let's just say whatever you think it is so much more impressive than anything you could possibly imagine. Kansas was in the last 2 years a top 20 offense. In both years that he was there, they ran the ball at like a top 15 level with awesome, awesome concepts, getting their linemen in space, giving their running backs gigantic holes, utilizing the talent that they have on their team. It was unbelievable. And their defenses have stunk. And they've made bowl games both years. And that is not normal for this Kansas teams. Like they're not. It is now. Here's the drawback, right? Is a lot of this having to do with Lance Leipold? Potentially. Potentially. That's always the drawback. You have this really great coordinator, and you're like, wait, but they played for head coach that like is really good at what he does. So there's some checks and balances there, but you have to admit that this was a home run hire. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, and it not only yeah, I love this hire. This is a hire that James Franklin, Penn State's gotten a lot of criticism for having stagnant offenses, not explosive, shying away from big moments and all that good stuff. Um, to me, I think a lot of people see this and like, oh, very good hire. Oh, Drew Lar is going to take the next step. He's going to be a first round pick. He's going to be this and Heisman contender. And while maybe that happens, but I think if that happens, the reason is because how explosive and how effective they're going to be in the running game. You brought that up with Kansas and how they ran the ball. The concepts were unbelievable with Devin Neal and the quarterbacks there. I mean, what he can do. We talked about the running back room already with Kay Allen, Nick Singleton, all the guys there. I think you're going to have a pretty good O line this year with a concept that they can do, get those guys in space, get them running downhill, and don't have it 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9 against Michigan, 3rd and 8 against Ohio State the whole time, and not have a chance to even convert that because you're just no running game, no threat there, and you're just gonna sit Drew Alar back and 5 wide and have no chance to protect six coming. And yeah, I think this is massive. Penn State's a team. Again, we talk about where like in the new landscape, yes, you move them out of the Big Ten East, which helps them. No Ohio State, no Michigan every year, but also with that 12-team playoffs, you expand that again. They're over on the win total is 9.5. You win 9, 10 games, you're gonna have a real chance to be in that playoff spot. And large part's going to be because of Andy Kotelnicki and what he can do for that offense there. I think it's fantastic. I think it's well thought out by James Franklin. Going and getting a guy that fits your scheme or that you can not necessarily fits your scheme, but can fit your offense and what you want to do, running the football, explosive plays, everything that you need to be a playoff contender and a serious playoff contender. Kotelnicki provides.
Yeah, and you're like, if you're looking at Penn State from a macro perspective, right? Like this team, you're like, okay, maybe this offense, even last year, right? Like was helped out by this defense. Is this defense going to be as effective as it was last year? My answer to that is probably yes. Yeah, right? Probably yes.
Abdul
It's going to
Carter is
be,
going to be crazy.
yeah, what Danny does Sutton. I mean, you're looking at AJ Harris coming over there from Georgia. I mean, it's a
Zane Durant.
Saint
That
Durant.
class, that junior class they hit on, by the way. Now, Drew Alar is obviously the linchpin, but they have a ton of true juniors with a lot of experience.
Well, let's talk about Drew Alar for a second, okay? Penn State, offensively, was the best football team in the country taking care of the football through the air. What I mean by that, no interceptions for Mr. Drew Aller. Had hardly any. He takes care of the football. And yeah, some of that was a result of, sure they ran the ball a lot. I mean, they ran the ball at a 53% clip, which is like sure top half in the country, but it's not like they ran the ball an absurd amount. That Indiana game, that was all Drew Alar. That was all him, like making big time throws in those situations. And eh, how good are the receivers going to be this year? I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Julian Fleming could potentially be kind of a boost there. Um, You got to think Tyler Warren's gonna be pretty solid at tight end. Like, what are the options gonna look like at receiver? I don't know. But the reality is, like, they're probably gonna be better than what Kansas had. I mean, am I right in saying that? I mean, gosh, if you go back and watch that bowl game, how who were they playing? Where
UNLV, right?
UNLV Grim. Oh my gosh, he was open on every single damn play. It was crazy, man. But that was not the only team that did that. Like it was just explosive play after explosive play, scheming guys open, being
Look at what
effective in
they
the
did
run
at
game.
Illinois. Illinois had a damn good defense, and they just
I
they
mean,
they, just, they couldn't keep up.
underperformed a little bit, but your point is correct, right? Like Illinois, even that the defensive line, they were lost. They were lost. It's
Mhm.
crazy, man. And they did it with backup quarterbacks too, like true freshman walk-on quarterbacks. Like I think they barely lost to Texas Tech with like a true freshman walk-on.
Cole
Barely.
Ballard, yeah.
Cole Ballard. I mean, so if you yeah, Lance Leipold, huge reason that this team was so successful offensively, this Kansas team at least. We'll see. We'll see how much this loss actually means, right? We'll see. We'll see probably pretty early on. But I have a feeling that not that people are sleeping on Penn State, but I think people are forgetting how close Penn State is to actually being a legitimate national championship contender. Is that crazy?
No, I don't think so. And I'll throw one other curveball in here for you. How about the name Bo Pribula? Pribula? Right? He's a sneaky. He's a good athlete. I don't mean to say sneaky athlete. He's a really good athlete. And I think like not no, he's not Jalen Daniels. He's not quite as, you know, how do I put explosive and kind of crazy as Jason Bean is. But he's a guy that can do some really creative things for you. And a guy like Kotelnicki is creative enough to understand that you have to put him in the game. You can do things with him. That obviously, Drew Lar's a good athlete. Obviously, not a great one. I don't want him running the ball all the time. But Bo Pribula can absolutely do that for you. I mean, he had 6 rushing touchdowns for you a year ago, which is pretty darn good. And obviously, the last staff got him involved because they thought he needed to. And I think the next one can absolutely.